Aglaea is the brand new Lightning 5-star character that follows the Path of Remembrance. This is the first character that we're getting of that path, and she is coming in version 3. We're going to be covering her best teams, her synergies, her relics, her LightCones, her playstyle, and her kit. All of this is speculation. I'm super excited, so let's get right into it. Alright, so what do we exactly know about Aglaea? Not too much. We know that she's a 5-star character, we know that she's following the Path of Remembrance, and we know that she is lightning, which I wouldn't really have assumed that. She looks kind of more like a physical. I don't know, she's just got a lot of gold in it. And as we know, the new Remembrance Path is most likely going to be summons, and from the little lore that they give us, she is the Dressweaver, the Weaver of Gold. I'm going to assume that these mannequins here, which are very pretty, great assets, are going to be what she summons. I don't know if she's going to summon all 3, just 1, 2, or however many. I'm not too sure about that. I'm going to assume that she's going to be a DPS character, just on the basis that we have Sunday, who is most likely going to be the premier support unit. We need a Remembrance DPS unit to pair that with. Of course, we do have these few summon DPSs. You know, as of right now, we just have Jing Yuan, Lingshot, and Topaz. So hopefully she's going to be the first Remembrance like full-on summon DPS that we get. So that's kind of all we know about her right now. So let's get into talking about what her role in the meta is going to be. I personally think that this is going to go one of 2 ways. She is a new character following a new path. And if we know of Genshin Impact, they actually did this similar to Dendro with Tignari. Tignari was the first Dendro character that was released. He had his own banner, but then he got moved to the standard banner. So he wasn't actually a limited 5-star. I feel like the same could be said with Aglaea, where she could get her own banner, and then on the live stream they'll tell us, hey, she's actually going to go to the standard banner, which would be really cool. Does that affect her kit? It could in some ways, you know, that could gauge how strong she is. But you know, she also could just be a limited character that doesn't go to the standard banner. As of right now, Genshin Impact doesn't have a Geo character on the standard banner. It's kind of crazy. If she does go to the standard banner, that's really not a bad thing. I think she looks incredible. And frankly, she'll still probably be around A to B tier. She definitely won't be SS, you know, the top of the line strongest unit. But I feel like for us having the first Remembrance unit, you know, the first dedicated character of this new path that is going to be a DPS, I would really assume that they would like to beef her up. But at the same time, we did just get a whole new lineup of characters that are most likely going to be summon based. Not all, but like probably like 3 or 4. So they also want to make us pull for those characters. So I could see her going to the standard banner. If that is true, I would be more than happy to lose all my 50/50s to her. I really would. Do I think that's going to happen? No, I'm probably going to end up with a C6 Jibard, but it is what it is. I kind of hope that they do put her on the standard banner just because they haven't had any new changes to that banner since the game's launch. So it'd be really nice for us to get a character of this quality on there, at least in terms of design. Now, as for her kit, I feel like Hoyo's gonna play it very safe, especially since she is the first one of the Remembrance Path. So with that being said, I feel like this lineup, either of these team swaps, is gonna work phenomenal for her. And I really say this because of Sunday being the summon support, and he gives a ton of crit. You know, he gives a lot of crit rate and a bunch of crit damage. Not only does he give a bunch of crit, but he also gives a lot of energy as well that can feel like are really going to help the later units if they do have those higher energy costs. So just off the top of my head, he gives crit, he gives damage percent buffs, the 100% action advance forward for both the unit and their summon, and a bunch of energy. That kind of sets up what the other summon units are gonna want, especially for the DPS characters. Sunday's gonna be really hard to beat. Not even just with Sunday though, but Tingyun is gonna be especially very good if they do want the extra energy, and she gives that nice attack boost as well. But for our sustains, you know, I don't have a Huoho, but Adventure's always gonna be a solid choice just for the crit damage debuff that he puts and for the comfort of his shields. But Huoho and Sunday is such a powerhouse. You know, if you put Tingyun on there, you're gonna have energy for your energy. I know Yunli has been very happy with that lineup of Sunday, Tingyun, and Huoho, just battering her ult. She always has that thing up, doing immense amounts of damage. It's just really unbeatable. The great General Jing Yuan as well, but I feel like the same is just gonna hold true for Aglaea. Now, Summon attacks count as follow-up attacks. And who is the premier follow-up support that is just unbeatable? Robin. So Robin, Sunday, Huohuo/Adventuring is going to be an absolute powerhouse going into the summon meta. I feel like Aglaea is going to get a lot of value out of this team comp, and it's most likely going to be a very, very great choice, a very safe choice, especially since many of us already have, Robin and Adventuring just ran. So I hope you picked up an Adventuring, and hopefully you also pulled a Sunday. Sunday is just going to be super, super vital going into summons. If that is like the entire of version 3, they'll probably do like 2 archetypes, just like how kind of the first half of version 2 was about Akron. They tried to do stuff with Dot, and then we went into break, and then we kind of ended with a bit of follow-up, but we also got Rappa, so it went back to break. So I feel like it's going to be summon, and then maybe one more thing, but Sunday's just going to dominate the half of whichever is part of summon. So since summons kind of follow the hypercarrier archetype, it's going to be Aglaea, either, Sunday, and then slot into Miln and Huohuo, or just Aglaea, Robin, Sunday, Adventuring, just any variation of that. And she's probably just going to work just fine. She's going to excel in those in-game modes because they're also going to cater to her being the new release, being the new path, being the new meta. Now let's actually start discussing her LightCones. As of right now, we don't have any Remembrance LightCones at all, but let me just double check that. Yeah, we have no Path of the Remembrance LightCones available. So we have to be getting a free one in version 3. I would just assume so, just so that players have something if they do decide to pull her outside of her LightCone. And speaking of her LightCone, on her LightCone, considering she's going to be the first character of this new path, I feel like it is going to be pretty strong over. I mean, the LightCones are usually fixes to the character's kit. Sunday is slightly SP negative. If you get his LightCone, he becomes SP positive. Rappa without her LightCone suffers from energy issues. Akron is pretty much unplayable without her LightCone. So following that path, but given that she's going to be the first character on this new path, besides, I just remembered Remembrance MC as well. So they're going to need a LightCone. I feel like that LightCone is going to be very, very strong, at least early on, since we really won't have anything else besides a 4-star, which the 4-star option will probably be very good as well, just because we're so limited on what we can use. But it really depends on the amount of LightCones that they give us. I would like, maybe 3 or 4 4-star LightCones, since we will have Aglaea and Remembrance MC. But it's really up in the air about how many we'll get. I mean, I would really assume that we'll get at least 1. But also considering we're most likely going to be getting, other summon characters, I feel like those LightCones could even be stronger for Aglaea than her own personal one, just because she's going to be the first, 5-star character of this new path. They may just play it safe and may not give her anything too crazy. She may not even be that strong. And then, we get like the Akron of the Remembrance path, and that LightCone can go like perfect on Aglaea. It really just depends. I feel like if you pulled for Sunday and got his LightCone, that will amplify Aglaea's damage so much that you'll be okay with skipping her LightCone and just grabbing, using the 4-star option. I think that'll be fine. Just pull a Sunday if you want summons, and I think Aglaea, no matter what, will be fine. Going over her relics, we're obviously going to get brand new relics for version 3 that are going to be, best in slot for the summon units for Aglaea going into the new version. But, we can still go over some of the options that we have here. Of course, Relived Ordeal, she's not going to be using, especially since she's a DPS. But Scholar Lost in Erudition could be decent. It gives the 8% crit rate. And if she does rely on her skill, once she casts that ult, that increases the next skill damage by 25%. Could be a good option for her. I really doubt she's going to be break. Sizzling Thunder increases lightning damage by 10% when the wearer uses their skill, increases the wearer's attack by 20% for 1 turn. If she has to use her skill every single turn, this could be a decent option. But I really do feel like the winner, the Grand Duke set, it increases the damage dealt by follow-up attacks by 20%, and it gives you a stacking attack buff. That's just going to be really, really strong. Jin Yuan with his teammates, he's just been absolutely killing it this patch. Topaz, if you don't run it with like the IPC team and just go for like a hyper carry Topaz, it's going to be freaking amazing on her. So I feel like this set is going to be a close, well, not even close, a good second option until we get a full set of the new relics. If she's ultimate base, then of course the wind soaring is going to be very, very strong. Fei Xiao loves this set, but of course she's constantly follow-up attack. I guess with Sunday, since the summon attack is counted as a follow-up attack, she should relatively be using the follow-up attack and getting that damage increase. I'm not too sure how quickly she'll be getting her ult though, so we'll just have to wait and see, but this could also be a decent set for her. Yeah, so obviously we have her planar ornament set that she's 100% going to be using. I need to actually start farming this set myself, but 2-piece increases the word's crit damage by 16% when a target summoned by the wearer is on the field. Crit damage additionally increases by 32. That is freaking phenomenal. It just tells me that these summon units are gonna be crit based. I swear, if she's like break focused, I'm gonna be so mad. Overall though, I really love her design. I would love if she actually did go to the standard banner, but I just don't think a character of this design is gonna go to the standard banner. I don't think the Hoyo is gonna be generous like that and put her on there. If she is a limited character, I'm most certainly gonna pull her. Definitely, for sure. She looks absolutely gorgeous no matter what. Do I feel like she's going to be top tier? Probably not, especially since she's running with the Herda. I don't think they'll put like 2 of the hardest hitting characters on the same banner unless I'm biting my words there, and they've done it before. But from what I can remember, Akron ran with Leokcha, and then Akron with Adventurine. Firefly ran with her support, so I think we'll be okay. We'll just have to wait and see. Let me know what y'all think. Are you pulling for Aglaea? Are you going to skip her? I hope you win a 50-50, and I'll see you in the next one.